Good morning. It is 10 o'clock on Wednesday, 10:01 now. Okay, I'm a minute behind. But I'm so glad that you are here. And I've got a question for you. Do you find yourself making excuses for not pursuing your dream and getting things done? Well, today I am going to give you 5 things that you need to get over the excuses in your life so that you can finally move forward. And just, hey, oh my gosh, good day, Miss Annie Cowden. Thank you for joining me live today. Excuse me. And if you are watching in the replay, be sure to play along with me, even in the replay. If you're here live, play along with me. And I will be sure to answer you as best I can. Oh my gosh, excuse me, the gook is in my throat this morning. Pardon me, let me take a sip. Okay, and if you're watching in the replay, play along, like I said. I'll answer your questions later. And if you think that what I'm talking about today might be helpful for someone that you know, feel free to sprinkle this goodness amongst your friends. And if this is your first time with me, you probably want to know who I am. I'm Ella Glasgow, and I help creative female entrepreneurs to pursue their creative dream without feeling like a burned out sellout, so they can own the power of their voice and finally make real money from their creativity. Annie! Oh my gosh, I can see the comments on here. I'm using something new today, so I'm so happy that I can see the comments. Oh, thank you so much, Annie. I appreciate that very much. Annie is one of my former students, and she is rocking it. Okay, so I want to get to the good stuff, and please forgive me. I'm reading my notes today because I want to make sure that I am getting you all of the stuff that I had in my mind to get to you today about excuses and the things that we do with the circumstances in our lives and the excuses that we sometimes make of them. So I want to be sure that I get to the good stuff. So but be sure to stick around to the end so that I can let you know how you and I can work together to become your creating dream team machine. Annie knows a little bit about that. Hey, Carmen, what's going on? So, what I said earlier was that we're talking about excuses. We make excuses in our lives for not getting things done. We have these big, amazing, awesome dreams, and then life happens. And when life happens, we tend to allow whatever circumstances are going on to become our excuse for not getting things done. I'm gonna give you a case in point. If you saw me on my personal page on Monday, I said, that I was talking about this today because this is hitting home for me today. I'm starting where it's closest to home because there have been some circumstances that have happened for me in my life for the past almost year that have that have caused me to kind of be a little bit quiet on the Book of Faces and even in my own business. And it has been scary in some ways. And I'm going to talk about it as deeply as I can. I'm going to share some things. I may not share everything right now, but I'm going to share the things that I feel are relevant. But I want you to first take note that if you have seen me before, you notice that there is not my fabulous pink background. Someone said that to me the other day, that they noticed that. And the thing is, there's not a pink background today because I'm not at my home. I'm not in a studio because over the past few months, we have been moving. And we were in Dallas, now we're in Ohio. And now we're here in a hotel. And, you may hear my son, you might hear some TV in the background. But we're in a hotel, and all of this time in these past few months, moving from Orlando to Dallas and Dallas to Ohio, I have allowed that circumstance of being uprooted from where I've been living for the past almost 10 years to be my excuse to not get things done. And the crazy thing is that when we have these circumstances happen in our life, some circumstances, you know, they can be small in some people's eyes. Excuse me, like moving. Maybe that's a small circumstance. Maybe you had a bigger circumstance happen in your life. And I want to know what circumstances you may have been having going on in your life that you feel, that you realize now have become excuses. So just let me know. I want to know what those are. Whatever you feel free to talk about right now. But these circumstances, you know, that it at some point they really are circumstances, and they kind of sidetrack things that are going on that you may have been, you know, really on in a good race with what it was you were pursuing. And then when things happen, it takes everything off track. And for a certain period of time, it's okay for you to get derailed. But there comes a point when you have to recognize that the circumstance is no longer just a circumstance. You have to recognize that you have begun to allow that circumstance, I'm saying circumstance a lot, I can't think of another word, but you've allowed that situation that's entered your life to now become an excuse to keep you from moving forward. And y'all, to be honest, that's exactly what I did. I'm going to tell you, moving as many times as we have in the last few months is a valid excuse for me to not have continued doing what I knew I needed to do. However, we've come to the point today that I said, no more. I am not allowing the fact that I'm not in my studio right now. I'm not allowing the fact that I'm not even in my own house. I'm not allowing the fact that, you know, that my son is in the next room watching a television show. I'm not allowing any of those things anymore to be my excuse to not be talking to you, because I need to be talking to you. And there's someone that needs to be hearing you and what it is that you have to say, or seeing what it is that you have to offer to the world, whatever that dream is. So I told you that there are 5 things that you need, 5 things that you absolutely need to be able to get over the excuses in your life so that you can move forward. 5 things you need, and 1 question that you need to ask yourself. But before I get to those 5 things, I want to ask you again, what are the excuses that you are the circumstances or excuses that you're using right now to keep you from moving forward? I would love to know, and you can tell me whatever you feel comfortable with telling me. You don't have to go all into the deep, dark story of it all, unless you feel like going into the deep, dark story of it all. But share with me what you feel comfortable with sharing, and with us that are on the video. And if you're watching in the replay, I will answer you after I see it later. But all right, are you ready for the 5 things? Let me know if you're ready for the 5 things. I want to know. Josh, excuse me. My cousin just came on. I'm seeing you tomorrow. All right, you guys ready for the 5 things? Bow, 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 bow. All right, Annie said she's ready for the 5 things. So, wow. I know, it's hilarious. Thank you. I cannot get this gunk out of my throat this morning. Thank you for the fireworks. I love fireworks. Pew, pew, pew. Okay, so here's the first thing that you need to be able to get over these excuses. The first thing that you need is grace. You have got to give yourself some grace. You have to have grace for yourself to recognize that you are human, and that not everything is always going to go according to the plans that you've laid. Sometimes we have to be okay with going a different way to the goal that we are trying to reach. And we also have to recognize that everything does not have to be done perfectly, or even in that exact moment. Grace. Give yourself grace. I can tell you that in this time, coming to this realization and being back with you guys here on the Book of Faces, I had to give myself some grace. And as I'm talking about this, my eyes are starting to water. So if I cry, it may happen because this is doggone it. I'm going to make myself cry right now. I don't want to, but because this is a big deal. And we create stories around the circumstances that we are living, and we do not allow ourselves the grace to be human and be okay, because it's easy, especially in this day and age with the social media platforms that we have, to present some perfect person to the world. And I'm here to tell you that I'm not perfect. I love helping the people that I work with. I love helping them to realize their potential. But I want you to also know that I'm still realizing mine. I am not perfect. And I had to give myself grace in this current circumstance that we're in. Being not in my own home, being, not having all my bells and whistles to make everything look cute. But I had to give myself some grace, and you've got to give yourself some grace when it comes to the circumstances in your life or the situations that you find yourself in. You don't want them to become an excuse for you not getting things done. And in the same breath, give yourself grace to be able to move forward. So the next thing, number two, the second thing that you need is the ability to let go. The ability to let go of the accusations that you've heard from other people or yourself. I'm preaching. I know I'm preaching to you too. Be willing to let go of the accusations that you don't know enough or you haven't learned enough. Because I just told you, I don't know everything. I am not perfect. There is no one on this planet that knows everything. Not even your favorite guru, not even my favorite guru. They do not know everything. The only thing, hey, Miss Jean Marie, the only thing that is separating them from those that they are teaching is how many steps ahead they are. That's it. And guess what? There is no law that says if you want to go and help somebody and you want to go help them to do whatever it is you have the gift to help people do. I have the gift to help people be clear on what in the world it is that they want and make a game plan to get to that thing that they want with really strategic steps. I have that gift. But there is no law that says you have to be light years ahead of who you're teaching or working with. There is no law that says that you have to be light years ahead, even in the skill that you have and are cultivating to create whatever it is that you're wanting to create for the world. And I'm going to tell you, I would sometimes say that it's even better to only be 2 or 3 steps ahead. Why? Because when you are not that far ahead, I'm not saying that you can't be light years ahead, but when you're not that far ahead, sometimes there is a greater understanding for where the person is that you are creating for. And, it's something that you can appreciate where they are. And I'm thinking about right now when I was in college or after I graduated from university. I was living with my roommate, and she and I were talking about all kinds of things one day, and she kind of threw out there, she just said, so-and-so and I were talking about you, Ella, and we were just amazed at how you have gotten things done. And I can remember thinking, I can see my apartment right now in Nashville. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't know what you talking about. I ain't done nothing. That's what I felt like in myself, because you know what? People sometimes see us farther ahead than we see ourselves, and we discount how far we've come. And we've got to stop doing that with ourselves. You have to, again, what I say before, what was the first thing? What was the first thing I said you need to be able to get over the excuses? Do you remember? Who remembers? Class. Who remembers the first thing? The first thing was grace. You have to be able to give yourself grace. And when my friend, my roommate, said this to me, she said, you know, it's really cool that the school that we went to, that they had people come back that had graduated, you know, years before and had become, you know, ridiculously successful. And if I said some of their names, you'd be like, oh my gosh, they went to your school? And I would say, yes, they did. But they would bring them back. And she said, you know, it would have been really awesome if instead they would bring people back like you. And I said, huh? And she said, well, because even though like everybody doesn't know who you are, you've done so much and you still remember where we are, those of us that are still, you know, working to graduate, you remember how difficult it was to be in school and pursuing our dream. And at that time, I was pursuing the dream of being a singer. That was my degree, commercial voice performance. And she said it would have been great to have somebody like you come and talk to us, because you weren't so far removed from the experience that we were having in college. And I'm telling you that so that you know, as you're pondering these things that you have in your heart to do, whatever that is, whatever that dream is that you've had in your heart to do, as you're pondering these things, and you may have been saying to yourself, well, I haven't learned enough, or I don't know enough, or I don't have the right degree or the right qualifications, and this and that, whatever excuses you've been giving yourself, you have got to let that go and realize that you are far enough ahead of someone that could use what you know now. And you can always learn along the way, because the thing is you're going to continue learning. I don't care who it is that you work with, whatever coach you work with, me or anybody else, we're still going to be learning. We're all still going to be learning, because none of us are God and none of us know it all. I don't care what anybody else makes you think. We do not know it all. We may know more, but we don't know it all. So, all right, did I do two? Because my numbers are off on my notes. So I said grace and letting go. So number 3, the third thing that you have got to have to get rid of the excuses in your life so that you can move forward is blinders. You know, like the horses that wear blinders so that when they're walking, they can't see what's to the left or the right of them. They can only see what's straight in front of them. Why do you think that you need blinders to get rid of excuses? Well, I'm going to tell you. You need the blinders of self-discipline to stop chasing every new thing that promises to turn you into a millionaire in 6 to 8 weeks. I see you and I know you because I've bought them and I have spent thousands of dollars on learning and wasted thousands of dollars. So I know what I'm talking about when I say this one. Blinders are so important. I saw a friend post earlier this week. I'm gonna see if I can remember exactly as she said it. She said, distractions look like opportunities when you don't know where you're going. She said it better than that, but I'm going to say it again. Distractions look like opportunities when you don't know where you're going. And I'm going to put it even further, when you don't know what you want. because that's what we're talking about. And that's what I talk to my people about. I'm talking to you about, because you're my people. People. There are so many things vying for your attention. And it can be really, really easy to see that next big thing. Like I'm just going to pepper this all with personal stories. Okay. This morning, I woke up and, besides getting my notes together for this to talk with you guys today, I was in one of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of that is for lifetime access to limited lifetime deals for different programs that come out that people put together, programs being like software programs, because I'm a little bit of a software junkie. And I was looking through that, and it would be really, really easy for me to just pick up all of the programs that come along. And I noticed some of the people were commenting on one of the newest deals that's come out for some webinar software. And they were saying how they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be $1,000 weekend for me with all the money they were going to be spending for these new lifetime deals. And I was just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, because the other key thing that they said was that I haven't done a webinar yet. I don't know what I'm going to do my webinar on, but you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and get this. That's what I wanted to shake them and say, why are you spending thousands of dollars on a software that you don't need yet? When you don't know what you want and you go cherry picking all of the different distractions that come to you, let me tell you how far away from your goal you will be moved. It's not to say that those things are not good. It's not to say that they're not useful even. It's not to say that you will never ever be in another coaching program or you'll never buy a program. I'm not against programs. I've got them. I will talk to you about them. I have coaching programs. Annie knows. Jean Marie knows. I have them. But the thing is, before you jump into another thing, be it a software program, be it a coaching program, be it a new whatever it is, a new notebook, whatever it is, whatever that new thing is, before you jump in, you have to really ask yourself this question: what am I selling? What am I selling? I don't care if it's services. I don't care if it's a physical product. I don't care what it is. If you don't know, you probably also haven't gotten clear on what you want. And if you don't know what you want, let's say you do get that new Facebook ad program. That's like, we're going to show you how to do Facebook ads, because that's like all the rage right now. We're going to show you how to do Facebook ads, and you're going to be like making $1 bajillion tomorrow on $5 a day. I'm going to get real close. If you don't know what you want and what you're selling, what good is a Facebook ad program to you? I'm just saying. It's not that you don't need it at some point or you won't need it at some point. It's simply that you don't need it right now. And guess what? There's going to be another Facebook ad program. There's going to be another new book. There's going to be another new course. There's going to be another new something that's going to come along right when you need it. Annie's giving me fireworks. She knows. She knows, because when she did the work with me, all the stuff magically appeared at the moment that she needed it. Not before, not very long after. It was when she needed it, it showed up. But that was when she knew what she wanted. We have to know what we want. So, okay, what number am I on? I told y'all, my numbers are totally all off. I don't know what number I'm on, but I do have something I want to tell you. So I'm going to, because I told you I'm going to give you some personal stories with this so that this really hits home for you. So there was a program that I became a part of years ago. The name of that program is really not relevant. It's something that I'm still a part of, but haven't been active in a really long time. And when I first got into it, I had heard of it years and years and years before I had gotten into it and wasn't ready then. And when I did get into it, lo and behold, I still wasn't ready, because the problem was was that I still hadn't figured out what I wanted. So that when I got to the first meeting, because it's a big international meeting that we have, and you're meeting people that could possibly help move your business forward and maybe invest in you, and all of these really, really grand things. And when I got there, before I got there, I should say, my mentor at the time said to me, Ella, don't you buy anything. Go to the classes, meet the people, have fun, network, don't buy anything. And I said, okay. I bought things. I bought things. Things that, it seemed like I would need because, salesmen are really good at selling. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with selling. That's do what you got to do. Sell your stuff. I sell my stuff. Sell your stuff. But the thing is that I didn't know what it was that I really wanted before I walked into that forum. I didn't know what it was that I really needed because I didn't know what I wanted. So everything looked amazing. Would I have needed what I bought at some point? Maybe. At some point. Did I need it at that point? No. Hex to the no. I didn't need it at that point. And it caused me, because I wasn't clear on what it was that I wanted, it caused me to really waste a week, because this is a week-long forum. It caused me to really waste a week that I could have moved forward had I been clear before I went to take part in this program that I spent a lot of money to be a part of. You have got to start recognizing what it is it's costing you to not know what it is that you really want. I'm going to talk further into that later. And hey, let me know if you've got to go. Just say bye-bye. Thanks for being here as long as you could be. This is actually going a little longer than I anticipated. So you can watch it in the replay if you would like to, because it'll be up on the page. So here is the next thing that you've got to have to really, really let go of the excuses. You have to have the ability to stop thinking. You got to stop thinking. I know that you have heard this term before. Let me know if you've heard this term before. Analysis paralysis. Have you heard that term before? Yeah? Okay, so analysis paralysis is when you are thinking on something for a really long time, analyzing it over and over, turning it over in your mind, and seeing if you really should or should not do the thing. And I'm telling you, you have got to stop thinking. If you have been thinking about the fact that you have this big dream, this big goal that you want to do, and you've been thinking about it for more than a month, you've waited too long. It's not to say that it can't be done. It's not to say that you still can't do it, but you're taking too long, and it's now, the thinking has turned into an excuse. It should not take you a month to figure out whether or not you should take the step, whatever step it is that you need to take. I'm just telling you that right now. Okay, number five. Boop, 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 boop. We made it to number 5. The last thing that you need is boldness. You have to have boldness. And this one is honestly one that came to me yesterday because I was talking to one of my mentors, and we were talking about some of the things that I was doing and getting ready to do this year. And he said to me, Ella, honestly, I don't think that you're bold enough. My defenses went up. If he sees this, he'll remember the conversation yesterday. That's what was going on. And he was right. He was right. It's why I'm on here right now, you guys, because I can't keep telling you that you have to be, feel the fear and do it anyway, and all the things that I've said. I can't keep telling you that you have to do that, and I'm not doing the same thing. So I am being bold in my circumstance right now and plowing through anyway, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the fact that I'm not, in my own house, and the things that I've already said before. You have to be bold to plow through those excuses, regardless of what things look like, and get it done. And I have a bonus. I got a bonus for you, okay? So 6, I said 5, but I'm gonna give you 6. Yay, bonuses. Fireworks if you like bonuses. Fireworks. So here's the bonus. You have to have tiny feet. And what I mean by that, when I say you have to have tiny feet, I mean that you have to be willing, thank you, Annie, you have to be willing to take baby steps. Sometimes we tell ourselves that we can't do a thing because we can't do the whole thing right now. And if we can't do the whole thing right now, well, then by golly, we're just not going to do it at all. And we end up having big feet and just crushing our dreams because we're trying to step on everything at one time. And if you will be willing to have tiny feet, you will find yourself getting to your goals much faster if you will break it down into tiny steps. And I'm thinking about one of the gentlemen that I mentored starting last year through a program that I'm a part of at UCF. I'm one of the mentors on the team for the Executive Resource Center that they have at UCF. And this gentleman had a desire to do some animation and create a show. And one of the things that he said to me, he said, I can't do this because I can't really move forward because, you know, you have to have a whole show together to be able to present it to like the big dogs and like get on the networks and like he had a big fuzzy vision. And I said, why? Annie knows I'm always going to ask you why. If you're working with me, I'm going to ask you why. Why are you telling me the things that you're saying? And he said, well, because that's what I thought I had to have. And I said, no, you don't. People present ideas all the time to others without having the whole thing fleshed out. You need to start with something. Get some drawings. You draw, hidden draw. Get some drawings and just do a voiceover with drawings. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be the whole kit and caboodle, besides the fact that you don't have the money to do the whole kit and caboodle. So there. So he was excited after our session. And that was last year. And he let me tell you what, he had some circumstances. He had some circumstances come out. He would, you know, he found somebody to do the drawings for him, and then they would fall through. And then he would find another person, and then they would fall through. And it was just a process. And every single time I said, keep going. Keep going. To today, or a couple of days ago, he texted me with the first complete drawing. Do you know? I was so excited. Can I tell you how much I was jumping up and down for him, even though he can't see me because he's in Orlando? I was jumping up and down, so excited because he pushed through. He was willing to take the baby steps. He was willing to have tiny feet, even though he thought he had to have big feet so he can get to the big thing right now. And if he couldn't get to the big thing right now, then he wasn't going to be able to make it. Because I'm digging all of it. That's awesome, Bug. Yes, I'm digging a lot of fossils. That's awesome. He's digging a lot of fossils, y'all. My son said he's digging a lot of fossils. But I was so excited for him because he was willing to have those tiny feet. And you've got to be willing to have tiny feet to take those baby steps, because you will move much faster to your goal if you will have tiny feet. So I asked you before, you know, I told you before, you have to also ask yourself one question. And that question is, excuse me, what are your excuses costing you? And what is your lack of clarity costing you? Your lack of clarity on what you want. What is it costing you? Is it costing you money? I know that for me, my excuses cost me about $25,000 last year. Those are real numbers, y'all. That's just the real. And is it costing you relationships? Are your excuses costing you relationships? And when I say relationships, I'm talking about, friends, family, whatever. You're holding back because you're afraid of saying whatever it is or doing whatever it is you want to do, and it's costing you relationships. Maybe it's costing you the relationship of staying in a relationship that you shouldn't even be in. Or maybe it's keeping you from the great relationships that you could be having, of people that support you and love you and think that whatever it is that you do is friggin' awesome. And the third thing it's costing you time. As in time wasted that you can never, ever, ever get back. But you have to be careful with that one, because if you're not careful with that one, you can spiral really quickly into regret, and that is a trap. You do not have to regret not having started. Do not regret the excuses. Remember what we said before. The first thing, give yourself grace. If you haven't started on the thing, or you've given yourself excuses and you've stopped, give yourself the grace. The only thing that you can do now, because you can't get the time back, is start where you are right now. Choose something to begin in. One thing that you can do. There are so many other things that I wanted to be able to tell you, but this has already gone on way longer than I anticipated. And if you would like to talk with me about your dream team and your dreams, and us possibly becoming a dream team together to get your goals in line and get you clear on what it is that you want, I would like to offer you a free Dream Career Ignition session with me next week. I want you to get on my calendar, and I'm going to put the link in the post here so that you can get on my calendar, and let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what's going on with your dream. Let's talk about why your crazy creative dream is not as crazy as you've been made to think. Let's talk about the excuses that you've been giving yourself as to why you couldn't do what you thought you wanted to do. Let's talk about how you can finally make your dream a reality and take it off the shelf like Annie did. And let's talk about that thing that's really keeping you held back. Let's talk about all of that. I am so grateful that you have been here today. Thank you for being here with me live. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Jean Marie. Thank you, everybody, for being here live. Thank you for watching this replay. Remember, I will come back and answer any questions or anything that you post in the replay. I'll come back and talk with you. We'll have a chat. And remember, my name is Ella Glasgow, and I help creative female entrepreneurs to pursue their creative dreams so they can do it without feeling like a burnt out sellout, so they can own the power of their voice and make real money with their creativity. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I love you all. Be strong, brave ones. Bye.